Give me this.
When society begins to think about the harmful effects of using oil, they usually think about the effects such as pollution, but hardly ever think about the harms of drilling and transporting. So why does society actually rely upon oil? Society relies upon oil because alternative fuels have not made it to the market to displace the need of oil. There are several problems with the use of oil. The most obvious problem is that oil is a non-renewable fuel. Another problem is that when transporting and drilling for oil, the transporting and drilling poses dangers to the environment and economy if a oil spill happens. With an ever-growing population, the amount of oil needed will only increase. The more oil that is needed for society will create more danger to the economy and environment. The reliance upon oil needs to end. Society's reliance should now be placed on renewable fuels that are coming to the market. So why should society stop using oil? There are several problems with the drilling and several dangers that are posed with drilling and transporting oil. The last major oil spill that happened dumped over 5 million barrels of oil into the Gulf of Mexico, causing major devastation to the economy and the environment. This spill that occurred on the Deepwater Horizon caused major economic and environmental destruction. Some of the losses included major losses in fishing and industry and losses in tourism. Some fishing industries reported losses of 70% in profit, and tourism reported over losses in over $1 billion. You can see this red line right here. This indicates that the amount of area that was cut off limits to fishermen during the oil spill. The star right here indicates where the Deepwater Horizon exploded. The environment itself suffered major losses in wildlife. Many species of animals had to adapt to lower the new conditions from the oil. The oil that was dumping out of the wellhead was causing less oxygen to be available for fish to survive at these depths. So the fish are having been found at higher depths now. The explosion itself killed 11 people on the Deepwater Horizon. There are several dangers also transporting. The spill that occurred on the Exxon Valdez was the worst accident that occurred up till the explosion of the Deepwater Horizon. This spill that occurred at Exxon Valdez killed much wildlife, and many residents that were surviving off fishing and hunting for income and self-sustainment suffered due to the spill. You can see from this blue area right here is that the amount of area that affected with the oil from day 7, it had spread almost 9 miles. By day 56, the oil has spread as far as 470 miles, causing much devastation to along beaches and stuff. The area that was in dark shaded areas is where the oil was spreading. Even with the containment they were trying to use, was not being effective enough for the oil to stop the spread. Oil is also a non-renewable fuel, so eventually it will run out. So what is society going to use when the oil runs out? So we're going to turn to alternative fuels. So what are some of these alternative fuels that society could start to rely on? There are many new fuels being developed for the market today. These fuels have the potential to displace the need of oil. One of these fuels, which is actually a completely renewable fuel, is called biodiesel. It can be produced using vegetable products. It's more popular for use such as soy products, and it's also been made from animal fats. But one of the problems is, is available to be used in all diesel engines with no modifications. But the downside is that it cannot be used in a majority of cars and trucks because they rely on gas. But luckily, E85 can be used on most newer cars today. E85 is 85% ethanol, which is a renewable fuel such as biodiesel, but 15% of the gas is used from non-renewable oil, which is oil. It is not offered at all fueling stations, which is the downside to it. It can be used in cars that are considered to be flex fuel. Some cars can be modified to accept the use of E85, but these modifications can be expensive. So, what about the cars that are coming to the market, such as electric cars? These cars have the greatest potential of ending society's reliance upon oil, because electric cars do not consume oil. Not only do they not consume oil, they also can lower the amount of pollution to our planet. There are several different types of and models available today. Hybrid models such as some hybrid models are able to run 40 miles on full electric before switching over to gas, and most of these hybrid cars are able to use E85. Most hybrid cars also get better gas mileage than standard vehicles, which can greatly reduce the amount of oil used. full electric, but full electric cars have the greatest amount of reducing the amount of oil being used. Some of these cars have ranges of 40 to 60 miles, but the charge time is around 4 hours. These cars have been very popular in city areas where people do not have to commute long distances. This right here is a Taos full electric car. It won the Motor Trend Car of the Year award this year. So, will these dangers ever stop if we continue to use oil? The question is probably no. The continued growth in population will only drive up the dangers for oil spills, because the more people that are on the planet, the more oil is going to be required. The more oil required will cause more drilling, and as we already talked about, the more drilling usually means the farther and farther out they have to go into the ocean, into deeper depths, which causes even greater dangers. The more oil also means more transporting, not only in the ocean but also on land, where it's an immediate risk to people driving around. And of course, more air transporting is more accidental spills. Our environment will never be completely safe until we try to find a good alternative fuel to displace the need of oil. Thank you.